Welcome to the Crystal City Criterium of Armed Forces Cycling Classic 2024 Pro Men's Race. I am guest riding for this team right in front of me in the purple. Kingdom Elite Racing. Guest rode with them for Swamp Classic. Good bunch of dudes and ladies. And Crystal City is almost always a sprint. So I'm just kind of hoping it's not this year. I'm going to try and move up to the front. You saw I was like dead last there at the beginning. Almost every year I somehow end up chatting with Hayden Strong back there, lined up a few meters behind the field. But it's pretty easy to move up on this course. This is one of the narrower, harder to move up straights into the third corner here, second corner here, and then it opens up pretty good into a hill. You can see bring momentum into it, and pretty easy to move up. The next corner is probably one of the tighter corners on the course, usually bunches up there. Some hitters at this race. Project Echelon squad that won Pro Nats. Sans, the actual winner, Stephen Bassett, he was in Johnson City doing a road race, which made it a little bit interesting how they were going to do, how Project Echelon was going to do their team tactics, but plenty of other big hitting teams here too. Got the Blazers and Legion of LA and MitoQ. Thomas Gibbons is also here, I think, with like one teammate. I'm making my way up to the front. There was like 140 starters in this race. This corner here, super sweeping kind of last corner into this finish stretch, which had a bunch of road construction going on. That was kind of the theme of the weekend, was road construction here in Arlington in Northern Virginia near DC, and there are the road plates right into the finish line, which got interesting. People trying to dodge those. Moving a little bit farther into this race, it's like an hour and 20 minutes race. We're 15 minutes in, and Echelon's starting to like send attacks like this just to feel out what the other teams are doing. There's a team from Germany that was here last year, DCC. You'll see them in the black and red right there in front of me. Also Ribble, Rebellion, big teams, big foreign teams coming, and we have a little bit of a gap. I kind of wanted this to work. Almost every big team is represented in this move except for the Blazers, who are pulling it back, which makes a lot of sense. But stuff like that would go, and then this course is just a little bit too fast for things to stick for that long. I think we averaged like almost 30 miles an hour, but Echelon was still kind of probing the field, seeing if anything would go. Oh, Brainstorm Racing here as well, so they're gonna lock it down. They've got a bunch of good sprinters, but trying not to chase anything, probably just gonna tag moves. Here's another move by Work Hard Be Humble guys, and then here is that German team, the DCC team. He attacked like on the right side as I was moving up on the left, and then he took a real inside line on this first corner, which was interesting. So we like let a little gap open to Scott, who was probably smart to kind of reduce speed into that corner. But I swung it a little wider and jumped on his wheel. He ended up pulling back this guy. I don't know if that's Serrano or Caleb. Kind of hard to tell from here. Maybe even Caesar. But, oh yeah, it's not Caesar. It could be Caesar. Anyway, a lot of these were getting pulled back, and it was pretty apparent that it was going to be a sprint, like even this early on. You could see the field bunching up like this a bunch. Big attack off the front, and then stuff would just kind of slowly pull it back like this. I was trying to stay up towards the front just in case something would go, but it was so easy to close down gaps when you were in the field. It would just kind of swarm around. So just following all that kind of stuff through. This corner here is pretty wild. You can pedal through it, but there's a little bump on the outside that'll buck you, which a few people did, and I definitely did once or twice during the race. So that got pretty interesting. But little moves like this, small breaks. I think Cade Bickmore actually ended up getting the heroic jersey because he went off the front for a little bit during the race. Scott McGill was also being pretty active. Here I am just kind of folding back into the pack, just trying to save a little bit of energy. My heart rate was super high for this race. It was pretty hot. That guy needed some water, and lost his bottle there, which was exciting. And then another dude, I think, flattened out right here into the first corner, which was a pretty tight corner. We were taking it pretty fast, so that was interesting. Back here on the first corner, and it's getting pretty bunched up into these. Caesar did the classic chop Caesar and moved up pretty far in a ballsy move. We're back into like the third corner here, and this was a good spot to move up. When teams were on the front, like defending like that, it would often open up and then close down real fast. Like you just saw, I jumped onto, I think that's Alfredo's wheel. Jump back onto that wheel, and yeah, it's Alfredo. And you can move up a lot, either on the right side or sometimes the left side was open. Best buddies, or not best buddies, the Miami Blazers ended up taking up with like 30 minutes to go. They took it up real early. I think Corey up there kind of wanted a little more free ride than he was getting back in the pack. But Rainstorm was right on their wheel, and it was getting pretty sketchy with, I don't know, 15 laps to go. So I was kind of dropping back into the field. You can see Ty Magner right behind me. He's trying to get up with his boy Alec here, and we're going to this first corner. I thought I was taking the inside line, but Ty took a real inside line. I took that Butcher Box dude's thigh right to my right bar and just kind of bounced off of him. So I'm going to get back up here and maybe get Ty a little payback, but all's fair, right? And we're racing still. 25 minutes to go. Teams are starting to form up. We've got Troopy right there on the right, and I know Frank Hell on my team is also kind of floating towards the front. They haven't done a ton. Frank Hell was in a good move, and Troopy was too, but we're not too tired. It's just getting hot in this race, like an 80-minute race, and people are starting to fatigue, but it's still easy enough to where everybody is like represented and they haven't gone too hard for most of the race, although some people would just kind of like drop off due to like the 30-mile-an-hour pace. But it's getting pretty sketchy back in the pack with 20 minutes to go. Although being up at the front, I was spending a lot of energy just like fighting the swarm. Legion following each other around almost put me into that barrier there, which was pretty wild. This corner got a little crazy too. Oh, Hugo in the rear view there. I swang it wide, and Hugo swang it real wide. Almost got the shifter to the right butt cheek there, but we all stayed up, which was pretty good. Just kind of showing how crazy this is. There was a big like crack right there under the bridge in the dark, and people would hit it sometimes, swerving all around trying to avoid it once you realized where it was. My heart rate is pretty high right now. It was pretty hot taking the inside of that corner. Moved up pretty well on Cade Bickmore's wheel, who's a great sprinter, so I thought I was all set being on his wheel. Usually likes to move up late, and I thought it would be a pretty good place to be. 7 minutes ago, I have since lost Cade, but I'm with my other dudes, and we're fighting for good position. You see Corey Williams right there. He's lost his Blazers team. I think they just took it up a little bit too early. Coming past Justin Williams on the left there. Looks like Legion is pretty scattered now too. Echelon had like 3 or 4 dudes up at the front, which was pretty good. And then, yeah, Blazers scattered throughout. Butcherbox scattered throughout. DCC team trying to take up the front. And Rainstorm actually ended up riding the front, I think, for the last few laps pretty well. But there was some train racing going on up there, making it pretty fast, like it's 31 miles an hour. And yeah, it's getting fast, but you can move up into the pack. There, Justin's still fighting for position. Cesar Marte, super scrappy rider. He'll send corners, fighting for position. You can see dudes from the lead-out train popping back into the field. I've saved a good bit of energy. See Sam Boardman there from his lead-out train going back through the field. But yeah, saved a good bit of energy. I've got Cade Bickmore right there. He's a sprinter for Echelon, as is Scott McGill. I'm sure they're both up near the front and have been racing pretty smart. But we're coming into the last lap here, so it's going to be time to start moving up and getting into a little bit better position, get out of the nonsense as much as possible. And so lost Cade's wheel just a little bit there. Dude's flying back through the pack, just kind of getting cracked. And then right there on the right, Kelly Benefits moving up, kind of a last-ditch effort. I think this is Dusan's wheel that I'm on here. He's gotten good results in the past on this course, and then he is following one of his teammates up there. And yeah, I feel like I'm in good position on Cade's wheel, on Corey Williams' wheel, my teammate Frankel's wheel there. I'm gonna have to come around these guys. It's getting fast. We're going almost 40 miles an hour on a straight that is slightly uphill into a definitely uphill straight. Corey here, he sees he's pretty far back and is not going to be able to make it up to the front, so I think he just sits up here. I'm kind of in the wind, so when that guy sits up as well, what is his name? Gosh. Sean McElroy sat up as well. You can see Rainstorm dudes popping off, Ethan Crane doing his job with the Echelon dudes. And I'm going to send this last corner pretty hard. Got a clear line, take the inside, Robin Carpenter on the outside, following a foundation dude. You can see Cade on the right up there. He starts kicking now, which would have been a good idea. I didn't really have an open spot on the inside. These guys were getting a little scrappy, and yeah, it would have been tight on the inside had I kicked. But now I start to kick up to 900 watts. 15-second sprinting still though, and Robin's like pushing me over into the curb here. He saw the same hole that I did, and I sat up just a little bit, lost my momentum, but just kind of rolled it in for 18th place here. You can see on the right, Tyler Williams got a little scrappy with Cade Bickmore. Alfredo took the win, Dusan second, and Scott in third. Thanks for watching. See ya.